Today on Public Eye News, a body of a missing teen was found and a homicide victim was identified.
Later in the show, Ross Ray will have your weather and Max Stevens will have your sports. Hi, I'm Alexis Ham.
And I'm Caleb Rydell. Welcome to Public Eye News. The Marquette County Solid Waste Management Authority is changing how they are doing recycling in order to make recycling more appealing to residents. The current recycling system has a dual stream system that alternates between picking up rigid recyclables and fibers, so only one type is picked up weekly. After taking a survey of 1,350 people, they determined that the current system was not appealing to residents and discouraged them from recycling altogether. The Solid Waste Management Authority has decided to convert to a single-stream recycling program that will allow residents to put ridges and fibers together in one bin every week. And a Menominee teenager who went missing Friday was found dead Tuesday in the Menominee River. 17-year-old Kristen Hope was last seen Friday. Crews and Menominee residents searched for her throughout the weekend and were bereaved to find her dead. Finding her today around 3 p.m. in the water near Stevenson Island, the search involved the Menominee Police Department, the Marionette County Sheriff's Department, the Marionette City Police, and both the Michigan and Wisconsin DNR.
And the victim of the Harris Township homicide has been identified. 74-year-old Michael Donovan of Menominee County has been identified after his body was discovered in a home around 12:30 p.m. Michigan State Police have confirmed a forensic autopsy is scheduled to determine Donovan's cause of death. Currently, a male suspect has been arrested under murder charges in the Menominee County Jail. The identity of the man is being withheld pending arraignment in the 95th District Court in Menominee. And Iron Mountain community members are rallying behind their football team in preparation for the state semifinals. On Wednesday night, a community-wide gathering was held at the Izzo Center to work on making posters for the big game. These posters will be lining M95 and scattered through the community to show support for the team. And local screen printing and embroidery business Advanta Print has prepared over 500 shirts for fans to wear to the game. A pep rally will be held on Friday morning at Iron Mountain High School before the Mountaineers depart for the Superior Dome for the game against the Pewamo Westphalia Pirates.
When Proposal 1 was passed that allowed the recreational sale and the legalization to grow marijuana in Michigan, many farmers decided to section off pieces of land to use for growing. Farmers have been testing out growing the unfamiliar plant, and some have equated it to planting $20 bills in hopes of harvesting $50 bills. Running into many problems such as too much rain that destroyed some of the crop while dealing with people stealing the crops, farmers have said that the test year allowed them to see many of the flaws in their current operations that they hope to fix next year and expand their yield. Over 500 people registered this year to be hemp growers in Michigan, with many focusing on extracting CBD from the plants to meet the high demand. This season, was the first growing season, so Michigan farmers have participated in since World War II, and many are hoping to capitalize heavily on their land through hemp farming. And yesterday, 78-year-old Marjorie Thelman took her 51-year-old daughter out of a care facility and stabbed her to death in a hotel room in St. Louis. Her daughter, Sharon Thelman, was mentally disabled and had been at the care facility for a long time when the incident occurred. Attempting to suffocate herself to death with a plastic bag after stabbing her daughter, Marjorie is still alive and at a hospital with a 50% chance of survival. A note left by Marjorie to her sons that said that her motives for her actions were due to her declining mental health and that she had dementia, and she did not want herself or her daughter to be a burden to her sons. Marjorie has been charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action and shall face court if she survives. And after the break, we'll be back with your national and international news. Stay tuned.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. This week on UTR, it's our first ever Winter Wonderland special. First, we hit the UP for a dog day afternoon you won't forget, and a snowmobile race you won't believe. Then we head back south for some sardine-style skiing and a snowdrift rally you just gotta see. This is an under the radar you can't miss.
Tonight at 9:30, Friday at 5 p.m., and Saturday night at 10:30.
Welcome back. Pope Francis has urged the people of Thailand to combat against the, quote, humiliation, unquote, of women and children. During an open-air mass in Bangkok this morning, the Pope encouraged the estimated 60,000 attendees to not ignore women and children being trafficked for sex or migrants enslaved as beggars and fishermen. Pope Francis explained, quote, all of them are part of our family. They are our mothers, our brothers, and sisters, unquote. Currently, human trafficking and poverty has helped to sustain the sex tourism industry in the country. The United Nations Drug and Crime Agency reported that trafficking for sexual exploitation accounted for 79% of trafficking causes in Thailand from 2014 and 2017. And with impeachment hearings dominating the headlines in Washington, the Democrats who want to be the next president focused on those proceedings last night on the debate stage in Atlanta. Danya Bacchus has a story from Atlanta.
Democrats quickly addressed impeachment and took aim at President Trump during their fifth debate last night.
We have a criminal living in the White House.
We have a president who is not only a pathological liar, he is likely the most corrupt president in the modern history of America.
Government-run health care was also front and center.
Let's bring as many people in and get as much help to the American people as we can, as fast as we can.
It couldn't pass the United States Senate right now with Democrats. It couldn't pass the House.
The 10 candidates all tried to focus on their strengths. Mayor Pete Buttigieg argued he has the right experience to take on President Trump.
I get that it's not traditional establishment Washington experience, but I would argue we need something very different right now.
Former Vice President Joe Biden remained a popular target.
This week I hear him literally say that I don't think we should legalize marijuana. I thought you might have been high when you said it.
Biden highlighted his support among black voters, but stumbled.
They know who I am. 3 former chairs of the Black Caucus. The only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate. A whole range of people.
No,
my point is...
that's not true. The other one is here.
I said the first. I said the first African-American elected.
He's always had these gaffes. I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, and I don't think it hurts him.
Another Democratic presidential debate will be held in Los Angeles on December 19th. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Atlanta.
A drought that has been affecting southern Africa since October 2018 is still in effect and is destroying communities throughout Mozambique and Zimbabwe, losing almost all their livestock due to lack of food and water. Communities throughout the region are facing food insecurity. Fields that have dried up, and in many cases, the only food and water available for the residents of the area are brought in from outside sources. Not getting nearly enough support from foreign and domestic sources to survive the long-running drought, many have died. Some places needing more than $28 million of relief aid that they are not seeing anywhere close to that amount are threatened. Over 11 million people in the area are currently being severely affected by the drought. And the fallout from Prince Andrew's controversial TV interview about his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is intensifying. Yesterday, the prince made the stunning announcement that he's stepping back from his royal duties. Matthias Tiaba is outside Buckingham Palace in London.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay.
The interview was rare, and now the fallout unprecedented. Prince Andrew has asked his mother, Queen Elizabeth, for permission to leave his royal duties and step back for the foreseeable future.
The royals are all about duty, so this is a shock.
Royal commentators call the decision damage control after what's been called a disastrous interview with the BBC. The prince now says he does regret his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
The statement makes it very plain that he regrets very much everything that's happened and feels for the victims. But he didn't say that during his interview.
Since Prince Andrew won't officially be working, CBS News has learned he'll lose his $300,000 a year salary, but he will get a private allowance from his mother, the Queen. The calls are now growing stronger for the Duke of York to speak with police, to pass on any information he may have about Epstein. The prince says he's willing to help law enforcement if required. The 59-year-old is also facing allegations. Virginia Giuffre claims she was trafficked to the prince by Epstein for sex when she was just 17.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
I think he will have to be interviewed by the FBI eventually, because he's not going to be able to lay it to rest until, everybody knows the truth.
Critics say talking to police may be the prince's only way out of this scandal. Riley Carlson, CBS News, London.
Back with your weather and sports.
Think you'll be tired of staring at that 37 pounds of leftover turkey in your fridge? Well, why not join us this week for our post-Thanksgiving high school bowl? In the first game, the Waters meet Nimrods take on the Lawrence Purple Hornets. Hi, I'm Jankowski, and then in our second match, the Brimley Bays go up against the Rapid River Rockets. That's coming up this week on High School Bowl.
And welcome back. My name is Ross Ray, and I'll be going through your weather today with you. Looking behind me, we're looking at the Ecumenic Mall. It's looking like some rain and some snow coming down. We'll be seeing that more throughout the weekend here. Looking at our current conditions, it's going to be some rain and snow with a temperature of 34 degrees, winds northwest at 19 miles an hour, and a barometric pressure of 29.61 and falling. Going on to later tonight, we're going to have some snow with a low of 25 and a winds northwest at 22 miles per hour. Going on to tomorrow, we're going to have partially cloudy skies with a high of 35 and our winds west at 12 miles an hour. Looking behind me at the UP, we got a mixture of clouds, rain, and some snow going on. So we're going to start all the way over here with Sault Ste. Marie at 41 cloudy, going down to Manistique and Escanaba, both at 43 and cloudy. And continuing our 43 trend, we're going down here in Menominee with some rain. Going to our other half of the UP here, we're looking over at Iron Mountain with 37 and some rain. Going all the way to Ironwood, some 31 and some snow. All the way up at home, it's going to be 34 and rainy. And coming back here to Wonderful Marquette, it's going to be 34 with some rain and snow. Let's look at our week ahead. Going on to Saturday, it's going to be a high of 41, low of 31 and partially cloudy. On Sunday, it's going to be again a high of 41 with a low of 32 and partially cloudy. And on Monday, finishing on a round with a high of 41, low of 31 and mostly cloudy. Well, Max, with the snow melting away here, it looks like it's a bad omen for hockey teams, especially Toronto.
There have been better days in Toronto, Ross. The Toronto Maple Leafs announced yesterday they have fired head coach Mike Babcock. Babcock, the former coach of both the Anaheim Ducks and the Detroit Red Wings, was hired back in 2015 and became, at the time, the highest paid coach in NHL history with an 8-year, $50 million contract. The firing of Babcock comes after a disappointing 9-10-4 record to start the 2019 campaign, going through a particularly rough stretch in the past month with just one regulation victory since October 26th. After missing the playoffs in his first season with the Leafs, they made the playoffs each of the following 3 seasons, but failed to advance past the first round each time. Babcock's replacement is Sheldon Keefe, who previously had been the head coach of the Maple Leafs AHL affiliate, the Toronto Marlies. And as the MLB continues its investigation into allegations that the 2017 World Series champion Houston Astros used a camera and monitor set up in the dugout to steal the opposing team's signs, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred has stated he is not opposed to handing down a punishment far more severe than the usual fine and draft pick penalties. Speaking earlier this week ahead of MLB owners' meetings, Manfred stated that the league is taking this investigation very seriously as it relates to the integrity of the entire sport. Manfred also commented that the MLB currently has no reason to believe that the cheating controversy extends beyond the Astros. Houston Astros owner Jim Crane declined to comment on the allegations ahead of the owners' meetings this week. And the NFL's Week 12 action kicks off tonight as the Indianapolis Colts pay a visit to Houston to take on the Texans. The Colts are fresh off a 33-13 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars, but in the victory lost running back Marlon Mack as he went down with a fractured hand. The Colts have been somewhat of a surprise team this year, as many were expecting the Colts to take a step back from the playoff team they were a season ago, with the surprise retirement of Andrew Luck right before the start of this season. However, the Colts are 6-4 and currently in first place in the AFC South. On the other hand, the Texans are also 6-4, but are coming off their worst loss of the season, a 41-7 defeat at the hands of Baltimore. Prior to that loss, the Texans had not lost since October 20th, a 23-30 loss to the Colts. Tonight's game kicks off at 8:20, with the winner claiming first place in the AFC South. And with that, that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Public Eye News, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.